life. Yeah, we don't have time to prepare. That's
Yeah,
true.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
It would be better maybe in 1 year or something.
yeah, maybe. I love
Or
that Restream also has the Ukrainian colors.
that's
Can you
cool,
see
right?
that? Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Now we are also trying to support everything.
Yeah,
In any way we are able to do that.
yeah. You by we do you mean us too, or Sweden, or
I think
you?
everyone for the moment, but like personally, yes, personally, I'm taking care of one family. I mean, care, it's probably a big word for that, but because I'm speaking Russian,
Mm,
that's for help for the moment.
yeah.
And my relatives here, Swedish family, accepted some family to support, and they faced this language barrier problem. So that last 2 days I was there, and also like bought some small things. Now I'm trying to organize um, something like intensive language courses, which could give these people a chance, like this woman, chance to feel her comfortable. As I met her and talked to her, I realized that language barrier is one of the hardest for the moment for her. Like she's
Mhm.
living in some Swedish family, and it's extremely confusing, and also just imagine the whole stress she went through.
Yeah.
So I decided that maybe that it's not food and it's not place, the housing, but it is important for them to feel more comfortable in the country till they will get chance to the courses officially. Now she's really, like urgently trying to adapt to the new situation and the language, and I'm trying
Hmm.
to give her all I can. So I found a teacher who whose native is Ukrainian, because she would wish to be taught at least first levels in Ukrainian. And then we'll see how it go. We are thinking with a friend to have some more platform to support all, like people who are in how do you say it, in this process of looking for new safe houses. Let's say it like that,
Looking
like
for what?
to new safe places they
Yeah.
can live. And the problem is that it's a kids who probably will go to German, Swedish, Polish schools, and they would need some language support as well, like on the
Mhm.
first
Mm.
steps to feel more comfortable. I think it's also kind of confusing, even for kids, probably the easiest to catch up with the language.
Mhm.
Then it's mothers who were just living and never thought about moving out, so they don't know much about English or stuff,
Yeah.
and
Even
what they need for work, for understanding kids, teachers, to the new system, like even basic like paper things. So that's what we're
even
trying to
for
do, and
families,
also sorry.
even for families who intentionally emigrate and plan it, it's still really difficult for the adults.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Really.
think that for some immigrants, family language stayed till really long time big problem.
Yeah.
It's
It's
and
never
that's why
really.
it can be a big upgrade for them. I understand that
Mhm.
maybe it's idealistical from my side, and she will speak that language maybe in half year, not earlier than that. But I want to give her all tools I can for the moment,
Of
just to
course.
support her this strong desire, to adapt, to survive, to support her kids, to defend her kids, to
Yeah.
understand better where she is. I can't even imagine how stressful it is for her now. So that's why, and yeah, I think she get a bit more calm when she saw me. We spoke. Okay, it's Russian, unfortunately, but I understand some Ukrainian, and that I showed that you will get support. Don't worry, text me if something. I mean, it's a lot of people doing it. It's just not just me being hero or something. Can't imagine how many people are engaging and doing this part. And then one thing I realized in these days, that like words don't really express enough what's going
Mm.
on when you face it yourself. Like, when you're going through the, like, you see these people, you imagine her being scared with two kids, and trusting your life to some almost random Swedish guy who wants to support and who's offering his house. Like, it sounds so obvious when you check in Facebook groups, but in reality, this trust issue, this in uncertainty about what you're facing is
Yeah.
insane. It's insane level, especially when you're with kids.
Mhm.
Like, one thing we're doing shit,
Exactly.
like meeting people on the streets and going to have dinner or something. But with the kids. It's
Yeah.
so different, and also you're not with your husband, and you don't know when you're gonna see him.
Mm.
So I it was a bit heavy for me first day, like just to see it in reality, like how hard it is. Even like you see this
Your
solidarity,
family.
this whole support with the hero people. Everyone is so ready to support, but it's still it doesn't make the stress for these people less. Of course, it does in some to some level, to some degree, but it's still extremely hard. And yeah,
They're actually living with you full time?
not with us. We decided with Henrik that we honestly tell ourselves we're not ready to see because I'm working from home and like you have to also know your borders. Like I
Yeah.
can help when I'm okay myself, and these
Mhm.
were took a lot of mental things from myself, from all of my Ukrainian/Russian friends. They are all
Mm.
really mentally so low. Like if you
Yeah.
have some Ukrainian Russian friends, check out on them because it's hard. It's extremely hard from both sides. Like of course it's not comparable with Ukrainians who like having their families moved and now it's getting worse and worse.
Mm.
Yeah, but it goes on both, I would say, on me as well, because I wish this all over and I wish it will stop as soon as it's possible. But I also realize I have to take care of myself because I also support a lot of people. So those people needs me. So I have to take care of myself the way I can.
Mhm.
And I don't think I'm able for like taking care of the family. In that case, I think for Swedish families, it could be a bit easier. Like not easier. I think it's hard to get people
Yeah.
you know from different culture who are on this.
I think it's really good that you're setting your boundaries, but also I think there's a danger that everyone thinks it's easier for the others, and then no one ends up doing it. That's something that can.
Yeah, maybe it's a wrong way to put it. You're right. It's not easy for anyone, but I appreciate people who openly able for that, and I'm just trying to do something from my side. I can.
Mhm, mhm.
Maybe it's a little bit, but maybe if everyone will do this a little bit, it will be a lot in
Yeah,
the end.
exactly.
So,
Like we were gonna go pick some people up who someone was organizing their arrival, and they said we need more cars, and like yeah, we're down. Even if you're exhausted at the end of the workday, it's like for me, you have to put it in proportion. Like you said, it's hard to imagine what they're going through, and we're just here going about our normal, comfortable lives.
yeah, those things are also important, like transport, translation, helping
Mhm,
small things. Like everything is important for the moment. I think, and also to write maybe in local group in the small cities place if somebody has
mhm,
somebody needs this language help or time with something or stuff. Like
mhm, mhm.
I'm working, yeah,
Great
but
idea.
on the evenings maybe I can do small things. Or early mornings I'm early bird, like I'm waking up really early, so maybe in that case I also can do something. I don't
Yeah.
know for the moment, but maybe it's some obvious things you can help with you're not aware of, so you have to maybe
Mhm.
at least let people know that you're open and then see how it goes.
Yeah.
And also it actually gives you a lot of meaning in your life for those days. You
Yeah.
understand why you are functioning, that you're doing something bigger goal, like about well-being. Not like I don't want anyone to be thankful to me. I understand that it's life and it's everyone is fighting and it's something my selfish idea about having some meaning in life, but it's definitely inspiring to understand that something you do gives some good to people.
Yeah.
And
And there's really always a way to help because if you don't have money, then you can give time. If you don't have time, then you can like
yeah, nobody knows what
post
is
a
more
link
important.
somewhere
You
so
can
people can
share
see
some
it,
food,
delegate. Yeah.
play with kids.
Mm,
Well,
mm. And so you had this really cool title for us today. Can you?
yeah, that's
What did you
actually.
mean?
I think it's. I've got today this feeling that it's really a genius idea. I was like, was going to some stores and I saw that one girl had like a big banner and there has like random people. In her case it was famous people, but I would develop this further. It was like her guessing about the future, what would happen with them, like
Mm,
like professional wise, personal wise. And I was like, there is something in life when your strategy is not reactive but proactive. It's like that's
mm,
not really reacting to the situation, but you are building your trust in your own intuition and your analytics. So maybe you're filling yourself with different people's analytic who you trust and whose words you believe. Maybe it's like obvious thing for other people, but it was a new thing for me today.
yeah.
Realize that I probably will put more attention
Hmm.
about my inner, like Bauchgefühl, like Germans say, this my inner feelings about how do I think people
Gut
will
feeling. Hmm.
act. And based on that, you can of course build your strategy. For example, if we talk about the personal level, you can just look at your friends and decide like, will they move? How do you like? You don't have to ask them. You just have to ask your own like inner feeling. How do you think that there's something about this core dynamic in people's life and people's priorities, which you see like if you're really honest with yourself, you would see like whether the person wants to have kids or whether the person express like career, like the goal in their life, or it's friends, or friends actually on the last place in their life. It's not even close to be a top priority. And that's something you unconsciously know, but maybe this forecasting thing, like looking in the future, like would I be still friend with that person in 5 years? Really like that.
Yeah.
Am I the priority? Do we understand each other?
Mhm.
Or some political issues or selfishness or something. It's not like you have to judge those people, but it gives you some realistic point when you can go, you can develop afterwards on
Yeah.
that. And the same, you can go on a bigger scale about having a strategies within your life based on feelings you have in the country or in the world, or like what things you want to achieve in your life, and who are those who can be next to you or not. I
Yeah.
mean, like now I'm using a lot of these abstract words, which actually makes everything is more complicated, but bringing down to like like putting it short is,
Mm.
in a nutshell, it's more about writing down your intuition about things, your own self as well. Are your habits sustainable? Are your goals sustainable? Are you ready to do the same like in 4 years? What do you think about yourself? Like being honest, like
Yeah. And I think the best predictions based on deep understanding, deep knowledge, and hard facts. And that's why I love this uh, science or engineering approach of first principles, of just breaking everything down of like, what is the smallest thing that we know for sure? Because sometimes even those can then be proven wrong. And so, like, if you build on exactly what you know, then you can either create something new or have a good prediction for what's going to happen on its own. And like that's exactly why um, when this started to happen with Russia, I thought I don't need to read the news. What I really need to do is go and read history books, and need to go and read politics books, because I have no idea about anything, and it's not going to help me to see a headline to know what's coming. It's going to help me to understand what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, with the individual level, also in coaching, for example, it's really important to understand things like your values before you start setting goals for yourself. Because a lot of people just set goals because they think that's what you're supposed to do, or they think that's what they want, and it's not really even what they want. So you have to understand before you can move forward.
yeah, it's I think it's exactly a mixture. From one
Mm.
side is your intuition level, and it's definitely for sure, for example, if you will start to do that every day, right? Like
Yeah.
you gonna start to, based on your intuition, predict what people gonna do, your friends, your colleagues, people who your life depends on. You start to predict, you start to develop your skill of what's gonna happen, like how they
Mhm.
gonna do this or that, react on this on that. Then it's definitely gonna develop your intuition, like it's gonna be like a professional skill in you that you already, it's gonna start to work, and then you start to
Mhm.
catch your intuitive feeling about people, about the energy, about dynamics. No, from other side, as you said, it's about knowledge. A lot of our prediction based on the perception of life, like how bright it is, how like we're covering everything what's going on, which is probably not possible
Yeah.
to do 100%. But of course, person, as you said, who learned history, who learned society, who knows these cultural differences, who really put some efforts in learning more, they have a better forecasting. That's why we have the whole like professionals, analytical people who are really learning the data.
Mhm.
They're learning the background, they're learning the like subject matter experts who are giving the, because those people like living within it. But it still doesn't say that the prediction is 100% right.
No.
The point is, yeah, to develop, because okay, you said that's going to happen but it didn't, then you learn about the reason which you didn't take in account, or you maybe didn't put enough value in something which happening. I was never thinking it could be valuable on the personal level. I was always thinking it's something governments and companies are interested in. Now I'm changing my attitude. Now I think that it might be a really useful tool for us as people within the society, within the
You
friend
mean
circle.
predicting or which tool?
Yeah,
Yeah,
developing
yeah,
intuition, developing
definitely.
analytical
And
skills.
it's actually something that our brains do anyway. I'm reading this really cool book about happiness called, I think, Solve for Happy in English, from Mo Gauda. And he has this whole chapter about how we're stuck with all of this neurological evolutionary trash basically now, because our brains got really good at surviving and not getting eaten by tigers and all that stuff, and now we don't need it. Now we have a completely different set of rules and environment that we live in. And yeah, some of the things that the brain is constantly doing is predicting, because it needs to know where's the danger going to come from, because if I don't see it coming, then I could be dead in 2 seconds. And that's going on constantly, but we sometimes fall trapped to all these assumptions and do it in a wrong way, because it's just what intuitively feels right is sometimes uninformed, or sometimes you get like exhausted of predictions and then you just don't want to think about it. There's all these ways that it can go wrong as well,
But
but we're really good at it. What
I
was that?
heard one speaking course on LinkedIn Learning. I don't remember the name of that. It was some public speaking or something like that. And there was one good point about it, point that when you're nervous, you're thinking about the future scenarios.
Yeah.
You know, that's the worst way to present. So that what she said, like you have to bring yourself back to reality. And I think more or less it's what you're talking about, that it's neurologically our brain, when they feel about anything about danger, it's like you're losing the moment, you're going somewhere in the future, which you think probably going to be negative scenarios
Yeah.
you're going to face or something. Uh,
And also,
I think analytical things which we talk about, like what do I mean, is a bit different than this anxiety, panic attacks, all these things which we all experience, especially now with the war. Like all my friends are taking different type of pill to calm themselves down, and we almost totally lost the ability to be in the reality, because we all the time in this, you kind of living your stable life, but at the same time you're all the time thinking about like your family or your friends who are like in under the danger, and it's scary, and then you feel anxiety about how it all, like it's something which develops within your brain. So I would say that we, and you personally, for example, have a lot of tools to fight that. Now I'm using, of course, meditation app, unfortunately, even for timer. Now I like silence more. Before I was able to listen more like guided meditation, but now even any voice distract me. I want just breathe without even any sounds. Maybe it's also a sign about that I'm really on level of my anxiety or something. And second thing, I'm using these apps for concentration, because I think it's almost impossible to um, check.
yeah, I've had to start time tracking because I'm now a freelancer, and my time tracker has this option where I can set every new entry to just be Pomodoro. And I was like, maybe it's going to be too much. Maybe I'll never get into flow. But actually, it was amazing. It was the best thing I could have said, is to turn that on, because then I always do 25 minutes. And I actually noticed, like, oh, I'm just finishing this task. I wonder how long it's been. It's like 24 minutes every time. It's crazy.
No, but it's really strong
Yeah.
tool, and I do really advise everyone who is same now checking this news all the time to use these deep focus apps, which
And then from that relaxed place, you're so much more able to see reality and the future, right? If you're totally distracted and stressed out, then it's just useless.
I think from the attention view, I'm really on the bad point now. I mean, I'm all the time trying to distract myself from the reality, because I don't know why. And maybe I'm not a psychologist to say, but I'm trying to fight it back. For example, even now when I'm talking with you, I'm pretty good concentrated on the conversation we're carrying now, and that's a good thing. Also, I'm trying to talk with people like, or when I'm watching something with you, I'm trying to put my phone away from me, even it's sometimes really hard. And to
Those are the worst.
unfortunately, Johar, I really have to roll down and just listen again, because I'm skipping so many times when my attention is flying away,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait. So I'm like a kid who is trying to learn walking again, and I think a lot of people on the same place now. It's so complicated. It's something we have as a Homo sapiens have to develop some special skill about
We're
how.
now all attentionally disabled. Yeah. Oh God. And do you think that? I mean, as someone who grew up in Russia, did you see this situation coming?
If I'm honest, no. Maybe I was too naive. Maybe a lot of people were naive. I grew up in Russia and I was always interested in this dark side of society. I was never like a positive patriot, even I love the language and of course I'm culturally totally tied to that country. But I was always reading some oppositional newspaper, journalist and so on. So for me, maybe this jump was not that big, but it was still like I could never expect like I knew it's really unpredictable country well, and I was a lot of times just trying to give some good impression from that country, because I wanted to show that there's something good there as well. But
Because it was your home.
this situation crossed even my worst expectation. Like, and believe me, it's more than just me that didn't expect that there's something like this is possible to happen. And this was a scenario for people who really were anti-Russian or extremely patriotical Russian, who thinks like that's really the way to defend our country. For me, it was always on the border of like insanity. Like it's not possible. Like in my world, this is not even on the table to discuss. Not to say do execute how they did that. So, but maybe it's something about the country I'm from I don't know about. And now I'm learning about people who live there and who unfortunately support this. And that's something, I see on LinkedIn a lot of Russians saying, like, I'm Russian. I want to express. I don't support this government. I don't support this regime. My heart stays with Ukraine. But something what they don't say that a lot of people, I cannot say it's majority, of course voting doesn't exist in my country, I don't know how many of them, but there are existing people who support it, and that's a problem, and that's something
Yeah.
we of course, like all Russians, are indirectly unfortunately possible. Of course I'm going to take responsibility for my life, for my decisions in my life. That's something I'm able to take responsibility for, right? But at the same time I cannot pretend that those people don't exist. They do. And I speak the same language. And that's, I think, struggle which Russians who are like me face now when we posting this all on Instagram or our social network, when we're showing this support to Ukraine, and then we face these critics from people from our country sometimes and from our own families. And that's some insane level of gap, like mental gap you have with people when your reality is so much different, when they are trying to push on you they way of seeing things,
Yeah.
and you're trying to like clash, like to say something to that, even you understand that is no point to discuss because you just see like this time totally different. And
Yeah. And
and I think,
does it also feel like it's created a conflict within yourself? You
yeah,
feel?
no, it's the only conflict maybe I have. I don't know how to react on those people. Actually, it's
I
actually,
know in general that that somewhere that maybe you saw as home is now looks different in your eyes.
yeah,
Does
but
it?
that's something all Russians believe now, because all things we post now on Instagram we can be punished for that for 15 years of prison. Like, because the word war now illegal is now in Russia. Like even media cannot use that. Like they put that much level of repression and censoring. So I
Wow.
don't know. They're checking the social network on the borders. Like, my dad was actually predicting this, that it's gonna come, but I never believed him. I never believed that anyone in modern Russia could think that isolation can be a way to go. That was some, like, I was born during Soviet Union, and I grew up in an independent Russia. So,
Yeah.
and Russia has an equal amount of ties with Ukraine and Europe. And like, how could you not see that? How could you just ignore this? How do you think that you are so much separated from all of that? It's not true. That's why when we were discussing with my dad, he was saying that I know this is gonna come, and you're gonna even have some visas to go out from the country. That's something in Soviet Union they had. You could not just fly to a foreign country. You have to apply for inner visa, which lets you go out from the country. Some like sick things like that.
Wow.
But now, yeah, more we all a lot of my friends are thinking that probably we not gonna be there, not gonna see. I mean, I'm planning to see my family in other countries, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But to go to Russia
Um,
now, I think twice or three times. And being honest, like 1 month ago, I was planning to go there like 4 times a year because of my family.
mhm.
But now, like the situation is bigger than anything I could have imagined.
Of course.
So, but our problems anyway not comparable with guys from Ukraine because even if it stopped now, just imagine how many years Ukraine would need to build this whole thing back.
Mm.
How much money, how much people efforts, and I think they will do. They're extremely patriotic, and I really,
Yeah, and there probably will be help as well from
yeah,
outside.
they're so. I'm so impressed, but something they will never forgive us as a Russian citizen for sure for next 50 years. And another thing that they will have to build again back country, and I hope this time it will be totally without Soviet Union heritage in any form. It's going to be just totally free, democratic new country. Because
Oh,
those people are going to get these European experiences, unfortunately traumatized by being refugees at some point.
yeah.
But
You know that I found out in an event the other day that the estimate for how many refugees there, or yeah, refugees there will be in the world in 2050 is 1 billion. So like an eighth of the whole current population. I mean,
but why?
the population
From
by
the more wars,
various reasons. Yeah, conflicts,
climate
global
change.
warming. It's going to be a big one, and maybe I don't know,
Maybe
work.
we should take into account in our forecasting that
What?
maybe we should forecast new strategies based that is gonna be more refugees, more people, and
Yeah. I mean, I really think the way to go is to give everyone new digital work. There's so many cool initiatives in countries like I think it was Kenya or in India, where people are trying to just teach as many people as possible things like programming. And they have the tiny classroom, and they manage to get 10 computers, and they're like, okay, we're going to have generation after
but
generation.
doesn't that leverage the price for that work?
Well, that's the thing. You can with that work, you can earn really well anywhere in the world. You just need internet, and then that's gonna lift the country up, and it's also gonna ensure that these people can immigrate anywhere and still have, financial stability.
Hmm.
I guess, yeah, there's still a very rapidly growing demand for IT, but we do need to exploit that before the next transformation comes, and then we're only gonna need, I don't know, like AI engineers, or it just keeps going faster and faster, higher and higher.
Yeah, I saw that even some Swedish company uh, made a post to inviting Ukrainian developers to keep a job and or opportunities, which I find also beautiful. Even I don't know, but like, men cannot leave the country. So how many women in developers in Ukraine who are ready to move out from the country?
Yeah. Wait, men can't leave which country?
No, now is some special
Oh, in Ukraine, you mean?
status here. The
Right.
men between 18 and 60, I guess.
Yeah, I also saw this amazing poster. I was like, oh yeah, good point. There's all that's actually also sexism. Why should men? Because it was really good post. They said, yeah, it makes sense to make men rather than women fight if it's like one on one because of the physical difference in biology. But if it's freaking bombs and tanks coming in, makes no difference whether you're a man or a woman. Everyone should just be evacuated and saved. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually something maybe I should discuss with my Ukrainian friends about what do they think about. But they also have to. I know a lot of women who didn't leave the country. I think it's mostly mothers, students. I don't know, old people. I think women who don't have to take care of anyone, they
Mhm.
have to state. It's pretty strong woman in Ukraine.
Mm,
Pretty, it's really strong woman. It's the wrong word. Yeah, really wrong people. Strong people to fight, and that's something I think they should be proud of. So I guess a lot of them are state as well. But
mhm.
at the same time, we cannot fight the idea that women can take care of small kids, especially a bit better. Maybe not like
Mm.
I'm trying to be careful with words, but I think
Yeah. I mean,
Of course, it will be really hard without that, but
in a more conservative context like Ukraine and Russia, then probably yeah. Just over here we have different family models where maybe it's a stay-at-home dad, and then you can.
yes, and that's amazing. And maybe it's in Sweden or in these countries where a man is so engaged in the family, it will be more possible. But I think in the Ukrainian conditions now, men are still mainly working, women are staying over moms, also based on the salary that men get more, and
Yeah.
so that's a good point. Anyway, you made.
What's actually your prediction for that worldwide? How's it going to go in terms of genders?
I think now it's even changing. Now everyone knows that if it's a woman, doesn't mean that she earns less. She can pay her bills. She can buy expensive things. I think even more than a man. She's more safe driver. She's better in paying credits.
I mean,
She's better
she's
at taking care of
technologist.
finance.
Yeah.
So I bet we get trust as a woman, especially as an economical entities. I guess in a bigger scale, women are more interested as a client, more interesting as a client than a man, because men taking more risk and so on and so forth. Of course, they maybe in some cases still get more salary, but we are more rational. We are taking care of our budget better and planning more.
Rational is a tricky one. That's something that's often misused, and I think it's more cultural than gender.
What? Russian
Rationality.
woman?
Hmm?
What do you mean, Russian woman? No, I said about women in general. I think that women in
No,
general.
about rationality, being rational.
Rational, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's often claimed that men are more rational, which is not really true.
I don't think so. I think you're always on these borders of surviving and not surviving. You need this being on these borders to feel alive, to feel that you're doing something. But I think it doesn't apply to all men.
To old men.
No, to not all men, but to
Oh,
not
right.
men.
Oh, yeah.
I see that a lot of
Yeah, it's all generalizations.
guys
Yeah,
just decided just to be without.
like with left and right politics, or freedom and oppression, do you think we should also prepare for another wave of, again, sexism and discrimination and all of this coming back after everything that we've done for women and LGBTQ?
That will be really bad prediction in case we would do that. I don't know. That's hard for me to judge. I would wish we will be better and better in developing this attitude with decency to people. Like you leave people right to just be a human beings with respect. I think that's important, and that's something we are missing in other countries, I guess.
That's my favorite approach as well.
Generalized, but you know what I mean. I mean that should be in the center of everything we do as a society.
Yeah.
And I think I hope we're not going to lose it. But this case with Russia also proves that, unfortunately, it's not always about the progress. Sometimes it's easier to be going down in this and
Like
destroying something which was built for 30 years, like 25 years of safety. And as I hear now a lot about this, how it's going to affect the society in Russia when country has a war. It's going to turn back the civilized behavior within the society, because now we have people who had experience at war, and experiencing war is a really traumatic experience, and that brings different energy in the society and different people.
we're still dealing with intergenerational trauma.
Yeah,
In more than 70 years.
And it's after 25 years of safety, and that's like yet was still military conflicts, but not on this scale. And that's really sad to see that. And also all this isolation which Russia will face, almost on the level like Iran. Well, this also will leave Russia behind for many years, as I could predict.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to take all of our crap to the next planet?
So you're planning to move to some other planet?
Well, I think at some point we will get to another planet. It's just a question of what will happen first. Will we sort our shit out, or will we take it all,
I think that's kind of prediction are really hard to do, but let's try. It's still 2022, March, and something we're talking about. Maybe in 10 years, we would be able to come back to this conversation and say what to think. I don't trust in our society that much. I'm basically a pessimistic person. I'm always like to see the dark side, which sometimes is wrong, and it's something is going good. Um, but I think some part of the world will be destroyed that industry, overconsumption, some
Mhm.
really bad things going on. But I hope and I would see that somebody will be lucky, but I'm really hard to say who's gonna be those who will get a chance to survive over
Yeah.
all of these things
Who
going on.
who do
I
you
don't know.
think? Hmm?
Don't
Who
ask
do
me. I
you
don't
think that we would
know.
need to send in order to have a better second world? How do you pick the people?
Scandinavians, maybe. I think that's one of the advantages we have. That they will base and put their rules on, and then everyone who's coming can learn from their cultural. I mean, maybe I'm just
Yeah, but
biased.
would the next planet also be um, social capitalism, where everyone who comes after is left out?
Why would they be left out?
Yeah, to feed their own, look after their own. But like the first generation, we're gonna have everything, all the benefits, everyone's happy, and Hugo. Second generation, you can stay outside this border.
No, I would say that they will go build an infrastructure, build a system that people will be easily integrated, find their own way, find their own place. Then everyone who's coming in will not be exploited because that's things what you can see in the Scandinavian societies. I mean, it's still a lot of hard work, but it's not that level of exploitation which you can see in many other countries, right?
Mm.
Still some mistakes, but still not comparable to any other countries on the planet Earth where people are facing
Mhm.
and children. The whole this attitude toward children in Scandinavian countries, right? When it's about nutrition, when it's about education, then it's for almost for free, which like the society supports you in this your relationship with your own kids, and that's within the society they think it's important. So the
Okay, nice.
man has a right to stay with kids, and I feel it's in the conversation. When they're talking about their daughters, when kids is a part of life. It was not like that in my family. Like, I mean, my parents loved me, but job is job, work is work, society is a society, solving problem, but kids is something on your own.
Yeah,
And that's something cool. So of course I would love people. I don't know about the language and cultural things, but this is
yeah.
system infrastructure. I would think that this is. I don't know anyone who would
Esperanto.
understand. Yeah, it's still high taxes and still high. People are paying a lot for that. But you know how amazing it is to live in the country. For example, in the case of this refugees crisis, when you know the government is backing you up, it's insanely cool feeling.
Well, the government is what, sorry?
It will back up you with this
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
for refugees. Like it's a free for them to go to dentist, like small things. But you know that the government will pay that because it's a lot of taxes we're paying for that, and you know that the government will serve. Not perfect, still time gaps, still small things, but it's not the same like in I don't know. For example, in Russia, like it might work, but in many cases would not work, or it
Or
will
even
be
America,
some
healthcare.
different conditions, that yeah, or in America it's even worse, like you will just die by breaking your leg because you won't get
Yeah.
that amount of money to
Yeah.
a small thing is gonna cost millions. I don't know how do they even live there, like
Mm. Do you
insurance.
think, do you think that automation will make labor better? That will finally not need people to do shitty jobs because now we have robots to do them?
That's I don't know how it will work. I understand that it's actually stopping countries to become totally automized because they still want people to get some salary because they really don't understand how it will work when they will not even see their companies, not
Mhm.
even have colleagues, not even have something to do during the day.
I think
Because
then,
let's be realistic. How many people will go to study something in case they will have 3 days? I don't
yeah.
think so. There will be much.
Well, if they're forced to, then they will. But then we also have educational inflation, and everyone has a PhD, then it's worth nothing.
But it's already this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like
we're already there.
now it's cool to have a PhD. Now everyone gets a PhD, and then I don't know what you have to. You have to become a Nobel Prize winner, and then it's something.
But I would be okay with that actually, as long as you're still learning the same level. because even if you can't compete anymore with your piece of paper, we've made all these people smart and knowledgeable. And then I think that has a great impact on the world.
You think so? You really believe that education is a key?
No, not key. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's a nice to have.
Yeah, like a present to your birthday. Not like you're gonna fight for that, but if you get it as a present, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
cool. Like,
Well, I
oh,
mean, I'm only saying it's not necessary because it's. I mean, it's not necessary for everyone, but a lot of people it is. I mean, I think, yeah,
well, that's something. I guess.
because the only people for whom it's not necessary is if you already love learning on your own. But honestly, like, where did we get our love from learning? Because at some point when we were tiny, we were also very well educated. So at some point, you need really good education. The earlier, the better.
Yeah, and then in case you would face to move to another country, you would be able to adapt faster. I think that's one of the biggest thing of education. It let you be more adaptive to changes, and that's a really strong factor for your
Mhm.
survivability. Let's say.
Yeah. Do you think in the future there's going to be a clear advantage to being either a specialist or a generalist, or are we still going to need both?
Mm, I never thought about it honestly.
I think maybe we'll still need both, but everyone will have to learn to switch quicker. Like, you could be an expert surgeon of just one kind of tooth, and then something happens, and then you have to pivot and become a writer. And the people who can do that the best will be the most successful.
It's cool. Also, going to be adapt to changes, right?
Adaptability.
Yeah, maybe something that what we have to put in our forecast when we're thinking about some person, thinking about how conservative he is or she is, because that's a big sign.
Hmm. I really hope. Do you think it's even possible to like keep going in the trend that the EU is setting and eventually somehow unify the whole world socioeconomically?
I don't see it coming, but let's see. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think maybe we'll have a few attempts. It'll be like Eurasia, and then it'll break apart again, and then there'll be a war, and then there'll be another an Asian Union, and then like you'll have trial and error until we stabilize.
And that's basically how it works all the time, right?
Yeah, or until aliens come, and then we have to work together. I kind of sometimes secretly wish for an alien invasion just for that reason, so that we realize how stupid our problems are between each other.
Yeah, but just imagine the amount of not sleepless nights after an alien invasion of people, not being able to catch up with these all new things going on. It's already so many big things we're trying to fix in one small hat, and
Yeah,
one more big, which I don't know how people are gonna be. So let be kind to us. We've hardly went through the pandemic. Now we're going.
yeah.
So
We didn't even wait for that to be over, did they?
yeah, now I don't know anyone cares about it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even see news anymore. Not in Swedish, not in others. But Sweden took down all restrictions 9 of February, so we are already 1 month without any form of restrictions, like nothing.
Wow. Yeah, I guess it's
How is
makes
it in
sense.
Germany?
I think we still have them, but they're coming away soon. Not
You
sure.
know what? You're not sure.
I don't follow news. Like I said, I don't find it very useful because if I think always take this example of one day, and you can have like you saw a rainbow and you kissed someone, and I don't know, you got a get great grade at school, and then you found some money on the floor, and then you saw someone die. Like, which of those is going to get to the news? It's the death. And so what's the point in watching all the negative shit?
Yeah, I also don't watch news, but I unfortunately read them on Telegram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find out through people and through Twitter and whatever.
Yeah, and people anyway gonna be commenting on that. That's also true that big things. Although I don't know why it's always negative. Like my husband watched this whole news on public news, and I'm like, it's bad news after another bad news. Like, how are you going to sleep afterwards? Like, how much?
That's our primitive brain again. It has to filter for danger.
And also this serious face, how they are reporting about things, and you're like, why are you in serious face? That's not happening to solve it. Stop it. It's like play. Are we at school?
Yeah.
Because it's still something somebody chose for us to hear. It doesn't mean that I heard one cool thing yesterday. It was a TikTok video from some movie. I have no idea which one. And the question was like, what is the what is the wrong thing people do when they're in crisis?
What? Sorry.
What do people do wrong when they're in crisis?
Okay.
What the worst thing they can do,
Hmm.
or the most wrong things? I don't really like I'm not sure about the wording, but the thing was like, what do they do wrong
Yeah.
being in a crisis? And the answer was not knowing that they're in a crisis.
True. But not always. I think sometimes I could be the person that acts the best because they're not freaking out.
No, but the point is like not about freaking out, but about forecasting, as we said, being realistic, connected, and thinking.
Right.
And then I think in that case you're better in understanding where you're going and what's going on around you, because you are covering all of those things going on around you.
Yeah.
Then maybe able to connect to dots and then have some information about it.
Did you hear about this? Also, I can't tell it exactly because I didn't read the news. I heard this from someone who couldn't remember properly, but apparently there's some sort of huge nuclear danger now in Europe, that there's a risk of having a massive nuclear explosion.
Well, please don't bring me this. Okay.
Okay, so what I was going to ask is, do you think that's enough reason for us to leave again after all these years of trying to immigrate?
I mean, where can I live? My options are really bad and bad in Europe, so it's like it's not a big difference for me. The biggest part, the main population in Russia still live in the European part of Russia, so in case it's going to do anything with Europe, it will be over for them as well.
Yeah, okay.
So, but in your case, as I see from some of my friends who are like just enjoying their life in Mexico, man.
Yeah.
Feels like it's really hot point for the moment, so maybe I would think so. Tasty food, stability, so far so many problem, no wars. One guy from El Salvador told me, said like, you Slavic people, you hate each other. You like, yeah, it proved actually this war that they're able to work. But he said like, we Latin Americans, we love each other. We don't really judge each other from okay, Argentina. He said it's a bit like different. But everyone else, basically, we're not racist to each other. We're really kind to each other, and we have this. And I'm like, how is it possible? How can you be nice to each other? How can you not discuss about some weird things and history being unfair to each other?
Probably because we were all victims of the Spanish and the Portuguese. And also,
that was enough, like to have one enemy for everyone. So in that case, like you don't really. Maybe.
Yeah. And also because we all have really nice weather and landscapes, and we all speak Spanish, and happy life.
But that's something you should be proud of because it's beautiful.
Yeah. I don't have the temperament for that. I was thinking also, if we go back, we can't help.
Why not?
It's harder. Unless you have lots of money to try.
You're underestimating the opportunities in our countries, I guess. I mean, now in Russia it's all bad, but in Mexico I don't think it's so low opportunities or something. I would not be.
I mean the current situation only. Then you could only teach the language to refugees who already have a laptop to have an online lesson. You can only send money to other
No,
people.
it can be in IT. I'm sure that in Mexico also there is some IT market, yes, existing or something. And then, life is always about some mysterious, lucky chances falling on your head. So you should not be so confident about how you think that things can develop itself. Maybe there will be more people.
I have this huge trust in life. I know, like, whatever happens, it'll be for a reason, and I'll be fine.
So that's something.
But when I have to make a conscious decision, I'm like, would I rather potentially save my life from this potential risk that maybe there'll be a nuclear incident here and just give up on my dreams? Or do I stick to it and as long as necessary, and maybe risk dying? So when I look at it that way, it feels like a choice that I have to actively make and not just let it happen. Yeah. I think if I get a German passport, I'd be okay with dying in a nuclear incident.
Can we finish somehow positive?
Yeah, sorry.
I think everyone has enough, like, in case somebody's listening to this, it's really cute. But I guess they have enough negative things. So let's talk about positive things about it's ways to support each other, to give some meaning to your life by helping somebody next to you and thinking.
Look, we started being positive and straight away we have more viewers. That's the law of attraction. Wow.
Do we? Is there anyone there? No, I don't think so, but
well, my next vlog coming out on Tuesday is also, I say something about how we can stay positive. Do you know this film La Vita è Bella? Life is Beautiful?
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
Same. So apparently it's about this dad who makes the experience as positive as possible for his son in a concentration camp. And so it's like, yeah, this really beautiful, sad film. Kind of maybe like Frankel's book. What's it called? The Man's Search for Meaning.
Searching for the meaning, yeah.
Yeah. So he basically turns the whole experience into a game for his son, and he tells him like, look, these cards are like here to show us, and then if you do everything right, you get points and blah blah. And I thought that's so amazing. That's exactly the kind of mindset that we need when shit hits the fan. Like as soon as you know there's nothing I can do, then the best thing you can do is change your mind, right?
Yeah, and I actually believe that it's exactly the one which affecting the hugest differences in your life when you're changing your mind. It's so easy to see the dynamic within you. You know, every time when you're talking about things which are really important for you, you feel different reactions. You have energy, you have a passion, and so on. So some missing points in your life is probably all just a reflection of things within your head. If you don't have something in your life, it's something about that you don't want, or it's not there. So that's what I definitely believe, that working on your mindset is extremely important, because it has the biggest effect on your life quality around you. So
I wish this became a lot more.
I'm pretty proud that that's when we're talking about the changing of your mindset. I bought a big book, which is I wanna show off to you. You know,
everyone look away.
What?
Just to me, everyone look away. No, what is it?
Well, I still cannot read what is the name of this book, but I will read that. DVD skills training handout and worksheets. I decided that now my strategy will be to buy self-help books. I'm stopping to read more theoretical books, but I'm buying like these practical handout books, like when it's about, as you said, small things. Well, for example, like intuitive eating, when it's about exactly applicable tools to change your way of thinking or doing. And this is the same, but it's more about like relationship with friends, interpersonal effectiveness, and this like handout. It's real case scenarios. It's not about theory about like in case you're going to be in hard situation or something, but it's just like here and now.
Basic, universal basics.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to, we can also do that you log into my Audible and have a look what you want to download, because I think I have a lot of those.
Oh, those, yeah. You always have a lot of resources, but I'm so bad. Like, all my books which I didn't read is like this. How do you call it? Syndrome of postponed life.
Postmodern life.
There is some syndromes. It's called in Russian like that. I'm not sure how.
Sounds great.
But the idea is like you always wait for the life to happen. Like, and I have like thousands of books I want to read. Somehow I'll never end up reading them, and it's something I think about, me thinking that it's going to be the right time and I will be in the right mood and it will be beautiful around me.
Here
And in
comes
that case, I will pick up this beautiful book, smell it, and we'll be reading that one. So like,
here comes motivational speech, Johar. You gotta take extreme ownership. You gotta do it. There's no tomorrow. There's only today.
do some
Only
videos.
life.
You know you're joking, but sometimes it's really important to watch some
Yeah,
like videos like that that gives you energy.
yeah, it really helps. And now it's like a double benefit for me because partly I'm remembering really good ideas and partly I'm laughing at them. So
Ah,
yeah, but no. I wish all of this was more established and accepted and like we learned it in school and we took it seriously. Because I mean now it's just been so overused. It's like one of these what's it called? Bullshit bingo words if you say mindset and oh we gotta work on your mindset. But it is true and it is so important. So yeah.
yeah, but you know, when it's getting on a big scale, it's losing the whole deepness directly. It's becoming like
Yeah.
a pop culture party, you know, it stops
Money.
being deep, hard,
Mm,
intensive work. It's becoming these things which everyone's talk about, but they're losing the meaning, they're losing the deepness, they're losing the concept. It's like a
yeah.
yoga which went to like just simple products. So basically, I think it Peterson who said in a podcast, which was totally true. When you're training yoga, you're just training actions because deep yoga is like a meditation. It's not this hour thing you do in gym. It's
Mm,
somewhere about breathing, concentration, and a meditative state when you are. But we're
yeah.
making everything really cheap, like you know, this like a supermarket product which you
Mhm.
eat, but you don't really get that what you did you eat. It was just a
Yeah.
short spike of sugar in your blood. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Like this.
So I think you should not take these critics seriously, and I understand people being not myself as well. I am a bit tired of all of the psychological posts on Instagram, on Facebook, and so on. But I'm trying to balance between two things that, well, it's a part of mass pop culture, and people
Mhm.
use these words thinking that's something trendy going on. But another thing, it's my work on within myself, which I'm
Yeah.
starting to discuss much about it because I understand that it's became too trendy. But I put a lot of pressure on, put a lot of how to say it, like it's still a big important thing for
Mhm.
me to do to work on because I see, but I also understand, like I know what do I mean when I'm talking about it,
Yeah.
and I think we both understand because we both were seeing the results of that work, and it's not just using the word mindset. For us, mindset is a
Yeah.
heavy, big, complicated thing, and to change it is extremely hard. And you
Yeah.
should not think that if you say two affirmation, that's how your life changed. I think it's everything is more complicated.
Yeah, exactly. You need the whole set. It's like a toolkit. I'm thinking about writing. I've been thinking for years about what my first book is going to be that I'm going to write. I'm pretty decided now. It's going to be some sort of toolkit because I think that's what we need is to have this full range, this picture of like, okay, how do I have a better life and I'm in a better position to contribute? And it can be any of those things in combination, and you need to know all of them, and you need to use whichever ones you need at any given time. Be like, okay, for this situation, now I'm going to go breathe or do yoga or meditate or read a book.
Did you start to write it? Maybe I should give a motivational speech now saying like, what do you wait for? Tomorrow Johar will be totally different person. He would not like to write any books, or his books will be something about different thing. You should
Yeah,
do it
so,
now because it's now the message you want to send to people, and maybe people need it now because you get an empathy. Tomorrow it will be different stage in your life and different thoughts
yeah,
and
that's what's been happening. That's why you shouldn't procrastinate. I know. The thing is, I don't want to just write another copy of something that's been written thousands of times.
But
So
that's hard. Let's be honest. It's millions of books writing every day.
yeah,
So to
I don't,
put it as a goal to be unique is hard. Be
I
honest
don't need it. I
out
don't
there.
need it to be groundbreaking, but I want it to somehow be slightly different. You know,
But you are a unique person. So whatever your honest, authentic story will be, if you would be really fully honest, it
that's
will be
true.
definitely unique because
Yeah,
it's nobody like you anymore.
yeah. I could write it in like a really funny, sarcastic way, I guess.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And bring in all of your cultural experience you have, which are a lot, basically.
True. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, we
So
have last 30 seconds. Is there anything else you want to share with me? I know, no, I'm actually thinking, I'm forecasting. I'm forecasting that at some point we will get some audience and then they're gonna come back and watch these old videos, you know?
yeah,
They're gonna
I mean,
be with it
we
in
could be like Johan's better react to And then we watch the old videos and
In
we're like,
case Svetlana and Johar, you're reacting that people watching old videos, we're sorry that we didn't being so cool as you expected us in the future to be. But that's what we did, and we're proud of that anyway. So yeah, have fun.
yes, I'm loving this. What do you think our next topic will be? Forecast.
We can talk about. Maybe we can talk about refreshing yourself, like how to get new ideas, new creative, new inspiration.
Creativity. Yeah. Nice.
We are really good in creating topics. Let's talk about that.
Okay. I'm gonna go finish this ice cream.
Yeah, and I will also go and have some nice lunch.
I'm sorry if it annoyed someone in the audience that I was just eating chips the whole time. I've been back.
We are trendy people now in TikTok. They're not sharing the real life. We also real now, you know.
We're real. Yeah. Hashtag no makeup. Hashtag everything.
Okay, thanks everyone for attention. Thanks Johar for this chance to speak. And I think we should stop now, right?
Yeah. See you next week.
Yeah, you too. Me too. Bye.
Bye.